This is Trophy, the Scoundrel's Quarter, Part 20. The Bull, the Beetle, and the Fox. The Bull, the Beetle, and the Fox come together every year in a small private room to tell each other stories. They tell stories of the kings and queens of old, and in particular, how those ancient monarchs were overthrown. They tell each other these stories for several reasons: to entertain one another, to learn of or be reminded of things the world has forgotten, magnificent relics and powerful bloodlines, and most importantly, to prove to each other that it can be done, that no ruler is incapable of being toppled. For this is what they desire most. They would see the crown in Umberet sundered in two. They would have the heirs of Nagane strangled in their serpentine cribs. They would watch the lordlings of Lavasti scattered in the wind. This grand regicidal project is what binds them together. It's what makes them each other's greatest friends and allies, but it is also what makes them each other's fiercest enemies and rivals, for none agree what should happen inside the power vacuum they will create. This dichotomy has caused them to each be keenly aware of the other's greatest strengths and weaknesses. The bull is the richest of the three by far, but his vast wealth has made him too comfortable and slow to react. The beetle has the deepest knowledge of magic and the ancient world, but her delving has turned her into a horror and just a little bit insane. The fox is the cleverest of them, but they are easily and often blinded by their passions. But that conflict is for another day. For now, they tell their stories of regicide, and we shall help them with the telling of one such tale, the most important of their tales, for it is not a tale of the past, but a tale of a possible future: the fall of the royal house of Umberet. The bull, the beetle, and the fox have all been augmented by the surgeon priests of Barsul. They have been implanted with a strange insect that will tell the story to them, allowing them to experience it together like a vivid dream. And in the telling is a detail, something of which they are not yet aware. An object, a document, a person, something or someone that will be the key to all their future planning and scheming. Regicide. Let's meet our treasure hunters. Going left to right, starting with Jack, tell us about Marta.
Yes, Marta, she, her pronouns. Her occupation is a gazetteer, which gives her the skills in barter, gossip, and writing. Her background is a proximity to power, which gives her the skill in flattery. Her drive is to liberate a piece of art from unworthy eyes, and she has two rituals. The first is mill, which is to grind a wheel to a halt, and artifice, which is to create a perfect fruit of your craft.
Very good, thank you. Amanda, tell us about Tam.
Tam, his pronouns are he, him. His occupation is seamstress, which gives me skills in needlework, terror, and vigilance. The terror part I'm not really sure about yet, but I'm sure I can make it happen. The background is secret monarchist, which gives me skills in treason. My drive is to escort the royal scion home, or the last royal scion home. And my ritual is whetstone, which is to sharpen the blunt end.
Oh, interesting. And finally, let's go to Ben and Rickard.
Rickard is a wage worker with the background of repentant soldier. So he has the skills of commiseration, labor, making do, and the wages of war. And his drive is to make something beautiful from a symbol of oppression. He has the ritual heart blood, so he can trace a drop of blood to one's kin.
Very interesting indeed. The story we are going to tell, or the tale we are going to tell, and the story we are going to tell, has not happened. This is just a possible future. And so it may or may not have any bearing on the future campaign. But the bull, the beetle, and the fox are incredibly interested in this possible future. And they are in particular interested in one detail that has remained elusive to their plans. It is critical to them. They don't know what it is, and they hope to find it. By the end of this incursion, we will decide as a group what that one detail is, that one thing that the bull, the beetle, and the fox will be focused on hereafter. This is a possible future showing the fall of the royal house of Ambaret. We are in layer 1. The gates of the royal palace of Ambaret have been breached. You 3 are among the first to break ranks and seize the bounty that the ruling class seized for themselves. As you will soon learn, the realities of power are not what you expected. The palace is filled with treasure, but also with the sins and secrets of the monarchy. Monstrous relatives, monarchists without a job protecting a pretender to the throne, other revolutionaries competing for pillaging rights. What will you find when you finally have access to the inner lives of the nobility? We start in the royal park, the vast royal park, which physically separates the royal family from the rabble. It is not easy to cross. It is well guarded, in better times at least, who knows now. And you are making your way in the chaos to pillage and plunder as much as you can before order is restored, before someone takes up the mantle of leadership. You are together, perhaps have not been together very long. You are perhaps just allies of convenience at this moment. The royal park, separating the aristocracy from the mundane concerns of commoners and the consequences of their own misrule. But it's a charming location. It's beautiful under the moonlight, filled with artificial grottos and cascades, transplanted ancient trees, marbled belvederes. The idyllic paths lead to the entrance of the royal palace. A sturdy white wall protects a purely decorative gate, the stone decorated with intricate tiles. And this is where we're at the gate. You can hear the chaos in the distance. You can hear behind you the clamor and singing of celebration. You can hear ahead of you the roaring of fires, screams of terror. And you are here at the gate to the royal park, 3 of you. The stone of the gate decorated with these intricate, bizarre patterns. Let's just have that scene.
I think we find Martha, who is She's an older woman, but I think living the life in this town has made her look older than she actually is. Silvery white hair, covered in these dark woolen shawls, very large, milky bulbous eyes, and even larger ears. But I think she's observing these symbols, tracing them with her withered fingertips and taking them in.
How interesting. The moment you begin touching the patterns on the tiles, you are hit with headaches, visions, something powerful wallops your mind. It's going to be a risk roll, but I do want to check in with Rickard and Tam before that. What are the two of you doing?
I'm
The
examining. Oh, please go ahead.
Just going to ask about the gate. Is it currently impeding us, or?
It is. It's closed. Someone has managed to close it.
Rickard's going to be looking for how it's bolted, how it's attached, and seeing if he can find any weaknesses in it.
Indeed. Tam?
Well, since a lot of gates and such or walls for big castles have certain types of escape routes so that when the royalty have to leave quickly, they can do so. I'm kind of skimming around looking for where that might be in this case.
I love it. Rickard, if we look at your skills, labor, maybe. What do you do as a wage worker? Just any job that you can get?
No, I think Rickard was was training to be a blacksmith, but ended up doing goldsmithing and now makes jewelry.
Okay, so then you probably have tools to that effect then.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't need you to make any particular rolls. I think that's enough justification for you to just start whacking away at the gate to see, to find your way in. Marta, you have a more pressing and invisible problem. The symbols are a defensive mechanism of some sort. Let's go ahead and do a risk roll. What is the worst that could happen here if Marta fails to resist this magic? That's for Ben and Amanda.
The tiles are actually a magical security measure to placate rowdy visitors, and Marta will find herself not entirely sure why she's part of this riot at all anymore.
Interesting.
I like that. That's really good.
Yeah, I'm thinking it could be I'm thinking that it could cause Marta to start freaking out, which acts as almost like an alarm to whoever is on the other side of this gate in this royal park. Intriguing. Let's talk about dice. I don't think you have a skill that will help you here.
I mean, writing.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Oh, so maybe you could like see what's happening and
Yeah, I can
know
sort
to
of trace
avoid
the
it.
spell.
Yeah. I'll take it. You've got one light die, and everybody can make a devil's bargain as well.
Just interacting or letting having seen the tile has also seen you, and some part of Marta will be inscribed on the wall forever.
Oh, that's intriguing.
I'm going to go the other way. No matter what, something that you have that's beautiful gets ruined.
No, I kind of like that. I'm gonna say no matter what, you start to become sympathetic to the monarchy.
Maybe go with Amanda's. So that's 2 light, 1 dark.
Yeah,
5 light.
5 light. I'll tell you what the complication is. The complication is you are too distracted to notice that someone is approaching the group from the other side of the gate. You can add a dark die to try to avoid that by getting a 6.
No, and I actually think I have a way to tie in the devil's bargain.
Love it.
And so I think as she's tracing these symbols, trying to sort of transcribe them and break them down, she's not quick enough. And the magic starts to seep into her. She starts to have these visions of a son that she had who was lost, executed by the monarchy. And when she touches just the right symbol, that memory is instantly gone, snatched from her. And she just feels this blankness, this thing that she should know, but it's forgotten. And I think that's enough to distract her from whoever's coming up.
Indeed. Rickard and Marta will be taken by surprise, but not you, Tam. Tam, you actually see them coming because you're kind of walking the perimeter looking for different entrances. I'll tell you what you see coming. Hooded lanterns that illuminate a ragtag group carrying improvised tools and weapons. Even from here, the smell of grease and sweat is strong on them. These are members of the Corvine militia, volunteer guards, keeping nobles, loyalists, and arsonists from entering the palace. They are, to some degree, the foot soldiers of this revolution. Tam, what do you do?
I would like to. I want to sneak over the wall and just hide from them. I'm assuming there's like the gate is part of a wall and not part of like the whole building.
Yeah, there's basically just like a tall wall with the iron gate and then
Yeah.
the tall wall.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think I just
behind
wanna
that's the park. Yeah.
sneak over the wall and then hide from them behind the wall and assess my situation there to see if I can get the gate open, because I can't do this by myself.
Well, Rickard's going to get the gate open
Okay, perfect.
by banging on it, but that's the problem, is the Corvine militia is
Yeah.
coming to where their position is. So it could be
Got
a
it.
matter of you like taking cover in case, so you can react to whatever happens to them, or
I think what I'm
finding an
gonna do is
alternate
I'm
way
gonna
in.
sneak over the wall,
Mhm.
and then once I'm over, hopefully I'm hidden, I can do the thing in video games where you take a rock and you throw it and it distracts the people
Yeah.
and they go the opposite direction.
Okay, good. I like that. It's very good. Risk roll. Jack, Ben, what could go wrong?
The rock hits one of their boots, and they immediately know who threw that.
I was going to say there's someone right on the other side of the wall waiting.
I like both of those. So let's talk dice. As you've described it, vigilance might be the
I
right
think
skill
vigilance is
here.
really
Yeah.
the best
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
You have 1 light die, and everyone can make a devil's bargain as well.
No matter what, you get over the wall, but it was higher than you thought, and you sprain your ankle.
Yeah, I am a seamstress and not a wall climber.
No matter what, someone in the militia knows you are a secret monarchist.
Oh yeah, I gotta take that.
Ben, you can still make your offer.
I was going along those lines, so
Very good. Okay, very good. You have 2 light dice, and I don't need a dark die yet.
That's a 2.
That's a 2. You will fail. Do you want to add a dark die?
I do.
Okay, go for it. Add a dark die, reroll.
5.
5. Very good. The complication is you're going to generally be successful. The bulk of the group will be drawn away, except that one dude who knows who you are. If you're okay with that, let it ride.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can add dark
Yeah,
die.
I like that. I think that's good.
Very good.
So
Give me the
I do
scene.
I don't find a secret way in or out, but I do find some vines and something that would pass for a foothold, I think. And I scurry up the wall as gracefully as I can, glad that I'm sort of out of the view of anybody because it's not graceful. And once I'm at the top, it's not as wide as I expected it to be, so I don't have a lot of time to really perch up there and look for my way out or my way down. There are some broken pieces of stone up on the top of this wall. So I take one and I throw it as hard as I can in the opposite direction of where we are so that these foot soldiers, this militia, will go in the other direction. And I think it sort of lands with a thud in some grass, some ground a bit away. I don't wait to see if anybody goes because I am really obviously on top of this wall right now. So I managed to scurry my way down and hide behind a bush. Again, grateful nobody is seeing me. And when I peek out, I see that most of the militia have walked towards the sound that I had made, except for one person who's got a big dented helmet on. I can't really see their face. I can't really tell who they are, but something about them seems familiar, and they are looking over in the direction of where the gate and where this bush I'm hiding behind is. And I crouch down as low as I can.
Just that one person with the dented helmet approaches the gate as Rickard is banging away on it. And he says, "Oh, there. There's no need to tear the place down. This is the People's Palace now. All are welcome. You have simply to state your business, and you will be allowed free passage."
That easy.
That easy.
Well, my comrade and I are seeking our luck on the inside.
Wishing to redistribute the ill-gotten gains of the aristocracy.
Of course.
You said comrades, and yet I only see one.
Oh, well, you know how these things go. 3 of us entered, 1 of us ran away.
Ah, that is most unfortunate. At this point, Tam, you will recognize the voice. This is... what's his name? We'll say his name is Baroon. Baroon knows you are a secret monarchist because he is a secret monarchist. And he says, "I'm happy to let you in, of course, so long as you don't have any flammable materials or fire-making equipment. We are trying to do our best to prevent the palace from being burned down. Though it is a symbol of our oppression, it is nevertheless a fantastic and magnificent architectural feat, and even in torrid times such as these, we should not let such things fall."
You
I
seem
also have
eager.
to... Oh, go ahead.
You seem eager to preserve such a symbol, boy.
I am merely trying to think ahead. That's what makes this revolution different. It's not just about unshackling ourselves from the yoke of the nobility. It's also about looking ahead to what kind of future we want to build. Why shouldn't we use the tools of the oppressor in creating this new world, I say?
Hear,
Should
hear,
you-
and well said. I try not to look like I'm coming out of a bush, dusting off my hands.
He says, oh, is that your lost companion then?
Yes.
He says, well met, sir.
And you certainly do have a way with words.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I was just explaining to your comrades that we want to be very careful about not burning down the palace.
Yes, it's going to be a symbol of not of rebellion soon. It's a symbol of oppression right now, as you mentioned, but
Of civic renewal. That's what I say.
that is an excellent way of stating it.
Some of
I
us would prefer
also-
to reclaim the rubble.
Well, you're welcome to come in and take as you wish, within reason, enough only to feed your families and perhaps to store away for the future. But be careful, and I have to ask, are any of you wearing or bearing symbols or marks of the nobility? This sort of thing will be looked down upon within the palace walls.
Not I, friend.
No.
Never.
Never, indeed. Very well. Comrades, please make your way across the royal park. There's no rush. Take it all in. It is beautiful. It is an incredible installation. The royals, even though they were a blight upon our spirits, nevertheless understood fine things and beauty.
Surely you won't mind if we burn down a few tapestries or crests.
No, nothing should be harmed. All will be preserved for the new world we are creating.
Waste not, want not.
Indeed.
Marta just spits the ground.
I love it. I think he'll walk with you for a bit in the royal park. As you're making your way through the royal park at night, I would like for each of you to tell me about a wonder that you find within the park and what rumors you have heard about it.
There is a small flock of, I'm not sure if flock is a word, of albino peacocks that are rumored to have been of a line from Old Caldur.
Every now and then in the moonlight, you can catch a glimpse of spider web, and it's beautiful and sparkling in many different colors. Rumor has it that the spiders in the park can weave a web so strong that it cannot be broken.
There is a monument that was commissioned, and the artist was from Nagano, and so it depicts this large serpent pillar cradling an egg in its teeth, and it's this sort of silvery chrome color that under the starlight twinkles.
Haroon pulls you aside, Tam, out of earshot of the others. Though I will point out to Marta and Rickard that you can see they are earshot out of the two of you. And Barun says, Tam, what are you doing here?
I'm here to look for a way in and out easily. What are you doing here?
I'm here to protect this place as best I can and to get the last royal scion out of the palace.
But don't just let people in.
Well, it would look suspicious if I didn't let them in. It's all camaraderie and parties in there.
Is the scion ready to go
I
at
haven't
any
found them
minute?
yet. I haven't
Oh.
found them yet, but we will get them,
Maroon.
and we will get them out.
Well, we need some sort of way of communicating. If you're going to go in and look, and I'm going to go in and look, we need to know.
What you
Can you do an
propose?
animal call of some kind?
Yes, I could be a magpie.
Let's hear it then.
He does a fair to passing magpie impersonation.
Well, I'll certainly know the difference between you and a real magpie.
He says, "Oh, thank you for your kind words. Who are these two that you're with?"
Muscle, brains, people to, you know. I'm a tailor. I'm a seamstress. I don't carry things or lift things or magic things or.
You should dispatch them as quickly as possible.
Well, I know all of the secrets of the
The
palace.
old woman is a horror.
She is frightening, isn't she?
But I have to say, the blacksmith apprentice is, yeah.
Well, if we can get him over to our side, that would be. He'd be a good soldier for us, I think.
Yes,
A lot of muscles on that one.
good set of arms and shoulders to support
Mm-hmm.
the royal family, indeed.
Yes.
And much more beside.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That would be very useful. Okay.
They're looking at us.
Act casual.
Hurry up, you! Maintain your pace.
Good save.
What are the two of you doing right now? You see them. They're clearly back there like like talking about something out of earshot.
Was that an attempt at an eagle call?
Sounded more like a pigeon.
It's a little curious.
Keep an eye on that helmeted one. Secretive. Stinks of royalty.
And that is a strong accusation.
Sympathy. Smell it on him.
Rickard will turn back to the others and say, "And what is the militia doing for the rest of the night?"
Oh, you've just come in time. We're having a little celebration. Little drink, a little bit of real dancing. Singing a shanty or two, I'm sure. We're just over this way.
I mean,
Come.
what is your favorite shanty, boy?
Oh, I love them all. I don't have any particular favorites when it comes to shanties. As long as it features a maiden and an inappropriate animal and a circumstance which is jolly and full of mirth. I love it.
You know, Rickard, I've heard that the last sign is still somewhere to be found.
Pity for them.
I can't wait to get my hands on them. If I do see them.
There are no members of the royal family remaining in the palace. They have all
Surely they
been
couldn't be alive.
they have all been dispatched, I assure you.
Oh no. You see, I have my ear to the ground. And as you could see, it's rather large. And well, they've told me things. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
I will confess, madam, you do have one particularly large ear. But you have heard incorrectly.
Nevertheless, something to look forward to, should it be real.
Seems like the odds are good with the way that the nobles propagate like cockroaches.
Are you trying to
Spotty
get
is
him to
one
like
lingering
fess up
about.
to something inadvertently?
Breed like rats.
I think so, yeah.
I like
How
it.
it reads, yeah.
Marta, you can do a risk roll with a help from Rickard if it would be appropriate.
Sure.
What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail to get him to slip up? That was, or that's for everyone, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm back in CFB. We all get to
Um,
say what could go wrong here if
Yeah.
Marta fails to get him to slip up.
Marta ends up convinced that there is no Scion.
Yeah, I think it could be something like Marta is immediately endangered by the group of monarchists embedded in the Corvine militia.
Yeah, she becomes a target. I like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get dice on the table. Do you have a skill that's going to help you here, Marta?
I was hoping gossip.
I'll take it. And everyone can make a devil's bargain as well.
No matter what, the next thing you hear, even if Marta doesn't know it, is a lie. Next piece of gossip, that is.
That's kind of fun. Take a look at your drive, see if I can. Oh, no matter what, you are informed about a piece of art that is not meant for unworthy eyes.
No matter what, this Scion is a grandchild of yours.
Ooh, that's juicy. I like that.
They're all pretty good options. Which one do you choose, if any?
I'm gonna go with the grandchild.
Very good. Very intriguing.
So is this too light, one dark, or just too light?
Just too light.
6.
There you go. Oh yeah. He absolutely gives away that he's a secret monarchist. What does he do or say? Or what about him makes you think this?
Good question.
If anyone has ideas, by all means.
Yeah.
Maybe you recognize the attempted magpie call as a call of the monarchists.
Well, maybe that's it. Yeah, because like they're Corvine, so maybe there's like this like imitation that he was trying to do of the Corvine call.
Maybe
And
the Corvine militia all know it really well. Like they're all
yeah,
really good at like making Corvid noises.
Yeah.
And
but his is
it's not-
off.
yeah, his is really off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do with this information once you know that he at least is a secret monarchist?
I think she just takes it in for now. And she does give a look over at Rickard. And it's this sort of knowing look, and there's a bit of a glance back in Maroon's direction. But I think she just keeps walking for now.
I love it. Rickard, you are the first to see a collection of the militia. They are in the park near the you're not quite at the palace yet, but you're getting closer. And they have set up like a camp of sorts. They are sitting among plundered riches, fancy furniture, sitting on big gilded wingback chairs in the middle of the woods, paintings and art objects stacked up all over, but casks of ales cracked open, merriment, roaring bonfire. It's all good. and fun. Everyone's having a good time. Rickard, what do you do?
I think there's a not insignificant chance that Rickard would know some of these people as a former soldier.
Absolutely.
He's surely not the only one to defect.
Mm-hmm. Indeed,
So
indeed.
he'd probably be looking around for friends.
Yeah, absolutely. A question for you, Rickard. What among your possessions do you particularly hide while you are roaming around with the militia members?
Oh, I think he has a set of flint and sparkers that he has them for professional reasons. He brought them for not so professional reasons, and he swore he didn't have anything flammable.
Indeed, indeed. Very good. So you're looking about, trying to find, I think you probably do find some such people. If you want to name one, I'm open to that. Or if you just want to generally find some people you know and join the celebration, you can do that as well.
Yeah, I think just general
Yeah.
pals.
You can quickly ingratiate yourself into the party, into the celebration. Marta and Tam, what do you do?
Marta hangs back from Ricard as he sees his comrades, and I think that she's going to kind of stick cover close to Barun.
I think I am looking around at all of the stolen goods from the castle and noticing things like cloaks and whatnot that I have personally worked on, and trying not to get my anger up because they're getting all dirty. It's very disrespectful.
Marta will ask when she's near Barun. Tell me, boy, are you a fan of the arts?
Yes, I was something of an artisan in my professional capacity before all of this, for all these necessary troubles.
Did you ever make anything for the Regency? I hear they have a fabulous gallery.
Yes, I am also. Yes, they. I gather one of the greatest collections of art ever assembled is here in the palace walls.
So surely that must be why you'd want to preserve this place, right? Keep the gallery intact, preserve works of art that were made.
I have heard rumors. I've heard different things, of course, about what sorts of artworks are here, whether they should be preserved or not, or where they should be kept is for someone else much higher up in the revolution to decide.
As he's talking, she just kind of slips her hands onto his, like in that sort of grandmotherly way. She just goes, perhaps you can take me there. Show me the gallery. We can tour it together.
Well, yes, I would be happy to do that, madam. He sort of like moves his hand from yours.
Yeah, she's looking up with those big bulging eyes.
I was like, I would certainly be open to doing that, but we still have to cross through the little fake village. We still have to get into the palace itself. There's so much. We're nowhere. And I have so many other duties and responsibilities, and here I will cut over to Rickard. Rickard, while you are celebrating, you see a beetle crawling along the ground. It looks up at you, almost with like a look of knowing, of consciousness, and it continues on. The beetle is joined from under some brush by a fox and a bull, and they are all wandering through a little part of the tree line with purpose. What do you do? This strange homeward bound collection of animals.
Yeah, Rickard will not think too much of the beetle, and then not think all that much of the fox. But when the bull makes an appearance, he will nudge the closest reveler and say, "The nobles kept strange stock in this park. What do you make of that?"
You said that to who?
The closest individual.
Oh, indeed. And he looks and says, make of what? What are you talking about? He can't see the beetle, the bull, and the fox. You can, though, and I would like for you to make a ruin roll.
That's a 4, so I'm going up.
How do you feel?
That perhaps we have disturbed something more powerful and darker when we broke through or when we tried to break through the gate, and that it might have left a mark on him.
Intriguing. I owe you a condition. The condition is you take the appearance of these 3 strange animals to be an omen, to be a sign. All this talk of the royal scion that may or may not be within the palace walls is merely confirming something that you have always suspected. You are the royal scion, hidden among the peasants with a blacksmith family to keep you safe. What do you do when you see these 3 strange animals wandering into the tree line?
Once it's clear that the person that he asked about it did not see them, he kind of pales a little bit and sets down the tankard of ale he had lifted and says, "Excuse me," and goes to get away from this site as quickly as he can.
Do you follow the animals or do you just go
Oh,
away?
no, the other direction.
Indeed. Tam, where do we leave you?
I was trying to maintain my cool, walking around this camp and seeing people destroy the hard worked items that me and my brethren have created.
Militia is so interesting because there's a hypocrisy here, right? They have helped with the overthrow of the royal family of Umbaret, presumably for reasons of equity and to make the poor whole. And yet, despite their preaching in the streets about the largesse of the nobility, they make no effort to destroy. Indeed, they are actively protecting this wealth, this fabulousness, these structures, this artwork, these antiques. Now, Baroon, of course, wants them preserved for a particular reason, and you as well. But the others, there's no reason why they should want that unless they think they have something to gain from it. What of your own personal possessions would be a comfort to the militia?
I'm not sure it would be a comfort, but I'm sure they would like to know that I have on my person a small brass key. I have it wedged in with my little sewing kit that I keep on myself, with all the needles and pins and whatnot. And I've been told that this is the key that will help us get in and out of the castle when I do finally find the scion.
Marta, where did we leave you?
I was harassing Baroon.
That's right. You and Baroon come upon a scene on the little road that cuts through the royal park that causes him to pretty much drop his facade. For a brief moment, he doesn't care about the deception. He looks on in terror and anguish as he sees a pair of gilded carriages that have been stopped on the road, the horses slaughtered, and the nobility inside hanging out the windows, their necks cut, their blood crusted and dried on the ground below. And Baroon says, quietly, but enough for you to hear, monsters. What do you do, Marta?
You not have the stomach for this.
I meant monsters. Those nobles are monsters. They got what they deserve.
Of course they did. And Marta just sort of very casually saunters from behind him and goes up to the lady of the carriage and sort of yanks her neck back, kind of opening the wound even more, slipping off like a pearl necklace that she's been wearing.
I think despite this, the fact that it's part of the revolution, I think I still do want you to make the ruin roll, Marta.
Okay.
Just how brutal was this killing?
Two. So it goes up.
No, it doesn't. You had a 3.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, you do just walk right up. It's no big deal to you, right? Like, how are you feeling right now?
She's fine. I mean, she hates these pigs. She's
Yeah, exactly.
she yanks it up. The head is like almost detached, but she just sort of pulls it off.
He says, surely even our enemies are deserving of some dignity in death and should not be handled in such a manner.
She's slipping it on, blood encrusted pearls onto her neck. She just sort of goes up to him and is that what you think? You think they deserve the respect? It's the respect that they had none for us. They took from us even.
How badly do you want to find this gallery?
I'd give my life for it.
Then grab your erstwhile comrades and let us go looking for it.
Of course. And she'll smile, and she's got these sort of like rotted yellow teeth, and she'll make her way towards. I think Ricard's probably the one closest to her, so she'll head over that way first.
We know a little bit about what Ricard looks like. Big, burly blacksmith type, and Marta, sort of Gollum-like older woman. Tam, we haven't actually really described what you look like yet. Maybe a good time to do that.
Tam has a slighter build than most of the people around here, most of the soldiers and the militia. He has spent most of his life in service to the monarchy as a tailor or seamstress, so not a lot of getting out there and fighting with heavy things. He's a little bit finicky about being clean, which is really difficult during a rebellion. And I think he's got some darkish hair. It's a bit wavy. He's about average height. There's nothing particularly remarkable about him, but he thinks he's really gorgeous. He also thinks he's quite brave and will be a hero at the end of this.
Baroon quickly waves you over as if to say, we're leaving.
What?
He's like, your comrade there, the old woman, she wishes to find the royal gallery. I don't know. She has an ill-favored look and is quite off-putting, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, perhaps we can find a way to push her down some stairs.
I think that would be for the best. There are plenty of grand staircases in the palace. Let's make our way. What were you doing before he pulled you away?
I think what I was doing was gathering little bits of trinkets and such from anything I could stuff in my pockets from around, maybe jewelry or silk handkerchiefs, just things that I can bring back into the palace to look like I'm contributing when when I get to the Scion. I can be, look at all these wonderful things I found for you. I've saved them because of you. I'm a hero.
Marta, you find Rickard. Rickard, what's your state of mind when Marta finds you? What do you look like? What's happening?
I think he's looking a little anxious, a little disturbed, and he's gone from trying to party with these people that he knew to maybe leaning against a tree somewhere, picking at a nail, just eyes off in the middle distance, thinking about what the animals he saw.
You look dispirited, boy.
What's that?
Come, we're going to the Royal Gallery.
The Royal Gallery. Well, that will be quite the quite the distraction.
Yes, it will be. And you should know. And she leans up and puts her hand, reaches up to her shoulder. The other one, the helmet, Baroon. Keep your eye on him.
I understand.
Very good. She'll pat him on the shoulder and she'll head towards Baroon and Tam.
Indeed. And the four of you can press deeper past the Royal Park. As you get closer, you see decorative marble columns with filigree ivy climbing them. You see a lifelike mannequin posed in a welcoming gesture. The mannequin has what appears to be real human hair. The silence is interrupted by the ruffling of leaves. And so passes ring 1. Let's take a 5-minute break. Ring 2. The trees thin beyond the park, barely thick enough to preserve the seclusion of the palace. The palace's towers and halls loom over mazes, statuary courts, and pavilions. The path takes you through vegetable gardens, leading to the low, humble houses of what one would assume to be the servants' quarters. But instead, you find a village, or rather, a mockery of one. It's just starting to be very, very early morning, and so there's a little bit of light. And you can see that this village is a hyper-real depiction of bucolic life as seen through the eyes and imagination of the obscenely wealthy and the grotesquely powerful. Fake houses, life-scale dioramas, simple and joyful dolls and mannequins, a colorful joke at the expense of the masses. This is the sort of thing the rebellion was so angered about. I would like for each of you to paint the scene and tell me what you see in this weird diorama village that is depicted very accurately, but is somehow a little off. Or shows a basic misunderstanding of how poor people live.
We can see a pen full of very pure white fluffy sheep, and they are baaing and very like you would imagine a perfect little sheep herd would be. They have not
They're
been
like clean.
sheared in a
Yeah.
really long time to make them so fluffy. They're extremely warm, and a few of them are fainting because they really need to get sheared. It's too hot.
There is a little field, but the things that are tilling it are small mannequins that are designed to look like children, and they're all smiling.
Every window, where normally in a village, especially of a lower class, it would just be open, but every window is glass, and not just like plain old glass. It is like cut crystal with the fine edging, and everything just shows an opulence that would not really exist.
Indeed. For a moment, Tam, you see Baroon looking at one of those windows with affection. A little sigh of appreciation. He used to be a glass blower in his other life, making glass marvels for the nobility. What do you do when you see him being so wistful right now, Tam?
I walk up to him in camaraderie and elbow him really hard. He has
It's
to
like,
not do that.
It's like, what was that about?
You're looking at the glass. You're going to give yourself away.
It's very lovely glass. I made that glass.
Well, yes, you did a wonderful job. It's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Yes, thank you. I know.
You're
Thank
very
you.
talented, but you have to stop this.
I appreciate you saying that. It's true. He's like, I'm not worried about your friends. There's two of us and two of them, and one of them is, frankly, an old toad.
But they could call upon other people.
We're
We
too
don't
far
really
away.
know who's part of us and who's
The
not.
Corvine militias, they're in their stupid drunken peasant revel. They're not going to be any trouble for us.
Well, if you get caught, I'm not backing you up.
Yes, well.
I have a mission.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. We do. Yes. Royal
I
Scion.
have the key. I don't know what it's for, but I have it.
Yes. Right. Right. So this gallery, I don't even know that it exists.
I've never seen it.
I just told that wretched woman that there was such a thing.
Well, maybe we can take them a winding loop around the castle and get them lost.
Yes.
Ditch them.
Yes. Push them down a stair.
Yes. Well, maybe not Rickard. Just Marta.
Yes. Well. All right. Lo, friends and comrades, he says to the two of you.
It's a very normal thing to
say. When Baroon and Tam turn, they would see that one of the mannequin children has been toppled over, and Marta is standing over, holding its sickle in its hand, or scythe rather. Look what I found.
What a fine farm implement that is. Crone.
I take it you're a farmer then.
No. My husband was. Once. He's dead now.
Well, I imagine he was probably, what, 200?
You know what would really lubricate this blade?
Do tell.
Scion.
that we don't even know exists.
We're going on about royal scions again.
I thought we were
Just-
going to see the gallery.
Oh, we are. Aren't we, Balroon?
Yes, yes. I'm
Rickard,
curious,
you
Rickard.
don't know. You don't believe that this scion exists. You don't believe there's a scion in there. After all the rebellion has done and taken from there. Right?
Rickard.
Very good.
Surely it's possible, but at this point, this glass is wonderfully made.
Really beautiful, isn't it?
It is the workmanship, but who would have such a thing? The cost of this, it's absurd.
Oh,
This is a
completely absurd cost.
Disgusting, really. And she'll just break it with the butt of the scythe.
He's like, right. And he kind of like knocks out the last little piece in the frame. Yes. Down with the royal family. Let's go.
Viva la revolution.
Yeah, well, okay. And hey, you can press forward through this little village. Your conversation is perhaps interrupted. When a flaming arrow flies past your head, Rickard, and whangs into a little building next to you.
being so close to it, Rickard will just grab the shaft in his gloved hand to extinguish the fire and turn to look in the direction it came.
You see a mannequin huntswoman. She is standing atop one of the little buildings with her crossbow. And every time she's taking out an arrow, and something in her construction causes the arrow to just light on fire. She has some sort of flint and tinder in her palm or in her manner of make. She herself looks, she looks like a really mannequins come in like very, very convincing forms and very, very like clearly a mannequin wooden puppet forms. And she's one of those. And she nevertheless calls out, "And so the hunt begins. I have come with an eye towards shooting some pesky little birds out of the sky, no matter where I find them. And I'm going to start with you." And she sends another arrow flying towards you, Rickard, which lands again next to your face. Rickard, why do you believe the huntswoman has marked you as her prize?
This is part of a maybe seasonal event that the nobles would play at a play at a fake siege, not actually intending to cause harm, but to get their blood up, and she can detect noble blood.
Indeed. And now she fires again. This is the one I need a risk roll on, Rickard. She's got you in her sights at this point. I'll say what could go wrong. You get caught in the throat with a flaming bolt. Do you have a skill that will help you avoid
My
this?
background as a soldier.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. And Amanda, you can make the devil's bargain.
No matter what, an arrow is going to get you, not anywhere lethal, but it's going to make your life a little difficult.
So you're not
A lot
dead, but you
difficult.
get injured. Do you take it or no?
Yeah, I'll take that.
2 light, 1 dark. Go for it.
A 3.
A 3. That is a
3
fail.
light.
You can add dark die to try again.
I'll do
Or
that.
ask for help as well, since you have a dark die in there.
Oh, perhaps Marta would try and save her
Yeah.
comrade.
Yeah, comrade. Yeah, I got a big scythe. Maybe I'll just try to slice the arm off.
Well, the mannequin is up. You can't get to the mannequin yet. She's like on the
Okay.
building. But you can help Rickard get out of the line of fire.
Okay, yeah, I'll just yank him away.
Go ahead and roll a help die.
4.
4. That is better. You're going to get hit by an arrow, not lethally. And I think, though, the complication is going to be that in your animated state, Rickard, you are going to like blurt out that you believe you're the royal scion to where Marta can hear you. If you don't want to do that, you have to add a dark die and try again.
Yeah, I'll try again. Light 6.
6 light. There you go. Fortune favors the bold. All right, go ahead and describe how, with Marta's help, you escape, Rickard.
I think he's just trying to put out the fire on the bolt that missed him again, and he's about to turn and say something to this construct when Marta realizes the huntress is aiming for the head this time and yanks him backward.
Cam, it might be on you to deal with the huntress. What do you do?
I am hiding behind a barrel. This is terrifying. Mannequins are very scary. And I think I'm just sort of poking my head out, watching the scene. And if this village has been accosted by the rebellion a little bit, perhaps I can try and shake some boards on this building she is on and see if I can knock her down.
Do you have like a ritual that might help with that?
I'm trying to think of how to use needlework to do this. But I can't. I had an idea, but then it fell through.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this is
I
going to
got nothing.
happen. I mean, yeah.
Or I guess, if you're thinking about threading a needle, putting a piece of thread that's very tiny and through a thing that's very tiny, if you did it from a very long distance, it's like throwing a little rock at a little person.
Yeah, okay. I'm
Can
into
I get
it.
pity points?
Yes. So the idea is you are going to knock her off balance, or you're going to weaken the structure, or what are we doing here?
I think at this point I'll probably just try and knock her off balance.
Okay,
I
very
can't
good.
imagine a little rock will knock down a building.
Fantastic. I'm gonna say that the problem if you fail is you're hiding. You've had time to hide. Baroon has not. I think she's gonna take Baroon out if you fail.
But he makes such beautiful glass.
Indeed.
All right.
You've got your 1 die. Let's talk about Ben. You can make the devil's bargain.
No matter what, you are going to start to suspect that Rickard is the scion.
Maybe the huntswoman will say something inadvertent that makes you think that. That's pretty good. I love it. You've got.
Yeah.
Do you take that? All right.
Yeah,
2 light, and I don't need a dark yet because really only Baroon's in danger.
That is a light 5.
Light 5, very good. Baroon is going to get hit, not dead, but injured, and you'll have to deal with that unless you want to add a dark die and try again.
I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it here.
Okay. So give me the scene. What does it look like?
I poke my head out and I see this mannequin made of wood and these flaming arrows, and I think she's kind of silhouetted against the moon and looks absolutely terrifying. Tam has always been afraid of mannequins. And I think he watches these fiery arrows flying and is so worried about this village that has been so painstakingly handcrafted by the people that he grabs one of the rocks and closes his eyes and whips it as hard as he can, trying to imagine like it's on a string and he's going to just string it right through the mannequin's face. I think it sort of just knocks her about.
As she
Just
falls down, she cries out, she says, "I will have you, royal-blooded one." And implying that she's shooting at someone who she believes has royal blood. Everyone hears it. She was shooting at Baroon, but also at Rickard, leaving it a little ambiguous as to who exactly she's talking about.
yeah.
I want to pick up the scene with Marta and Rickard hiding behind a structure, though.
Hearing the mannequin as he's getting to his seat, he'll just turn to Marta, and I think he looks a little pale. And he'll, thank you, grandmother.
Yes. I told you about that Barum. She can't be trusted. Listen to her, calling out the noble. She smells it too.
Indeed.
We'll have to deal with
Perhaps
this,
he
you know.
doesn't know.
Well, now we do.
But if he doesn't, surely just that blood alone isn't enough to condemn him.
I'm
The
willing to
nobles
take that
propagate
risk.
like rats.
No. There are plenty of rats to kill then.
Of course. For the people.
Where you hurt, boy? And actually, where did you get hit?
I think he didn't even notice with all the high emotions here, but there's an arrow just sticking out of his, like the back of the high part of his shoulder. And as he straightens up and kind of, he'll lean forward and there.
Yeah, Marta will sort of get all maternal and break the end of the arrow off, toss it to the side, and just pull it out. Yeah, put some pressure on it, dear.
It's my thanks.
Tam, you managed to get Baroon to safety behind your stack of barrels. He's been hit in the leg. The wound cauterizes immediately because it's a flaming arrow, but nevertheless, he's been hit in the leg. And he says, "I was always against bringing mannequins behind the palace walls.
As was I.
Oh,
They shouldn't. You can't trust them. They're
no.
irrational.
Mannequins are best seen, not heard, and certainly
Yes.
not allowed to walk around. Statues.
And not
Statues are
having
what I like.
weapons.
Yes.
Yes.
Not armed.
Quiet statues. I
Ah,
absolutely. At least you did not hurt your beautiful hands. You can still make
yes.
glass.
Yes. Well, and it's really my mouth that is very important in that regard. But yes,
Well, I suppose
it's
yes. I don't really know how glass is made.
you blow into
You make windows like that?
there's a glob of never mind.
The mannequin. She was targeting this group, though.
Well, yes, did you hear what she cried out?
Something about royal blood.
I come from a
hunter
very good
mannequin-
family, but not a royal one.
Are you sure?
Well, yes, I actually spent a significant amount of money having my heritage traced for me, and I regrettably do not have any royal blood, though come from very good stock as a general proposition.
Well, Rickard does have a very princely way about him, doesn't he?
Well, yes, I mean, and I know you're not royalty, and there's certainly no way the crone is royalty, And so,
I'm not even sure she's human.
oh, indeed. Ah, that just leads.
Perhaps we
Rickard, you said
have.
his name was?
Perhaps we've already found the scion. Do you know who the scion is?
Well, no, I've never. I don't. I think the royal scion is just a rumor.
Has to be true, otherwise we wouldn't be here. I was
Yes, I
sent on a mission.
suppose. Right, right. Oh,
So if
look,
we
the
found
mannequin's
scion.
getting up again.
Oh, oh,
The mannequin
oh.
huntswoman has gotten up, and she's firing off a series of non-flaming arrows that are causing little thwangs every time they hit. And every time there's a thwang, a bucket of liquid, oil by the look and smell of it, begins pouring all across the way, creating a barrier between you and the palace. And now she's got a flaming arrow and she's ready to light it up. You're all aware of this. Who has a plan for stopping her and or just booking it across the oil field? What is everyone doing, Marta?
I mean, if it's okay, if I can get in range, I'd just like to maybe like take her out with my scythe. Try to
You would have
chop off one
you
of
would
her
have to
arms.
get over to where she's at and then climb up and get her. You could do
Oh,
that.
she's like elevated.
Yeah, she's elevated. Yeah.
Okay.
Which you could do that. It would just be a tough risk roll,
No,
but
I'm like 90. Like,
yeah, fair. Well, we'll come back to you then. Rickard, what do you do?
Is Baroon still wearing his helmet?
You can't see Baroon right now, but
Oh.
yeah, but out of character, yes, he is.
Well, then in that case, I would like to take the hammer from my belt and try and just throw it end over end to maybe knock the crossbow aside.
Very good. That sounds
I
like a
have an
good
idea.
action. Yeah.
So I have the ritual mill, which is to grind a wheel to a halt. Presumably, mannequins are powered by gears, which are like wheels.
Oh yeah.
So I'd like to try and utilize my ritual to cause her gears or wheels to stop.
Oh, nice. I think that might be a good help roll for Rickard to slow her down. And Tam, what are you going to do?
Can two people help? I can't remember how the help works.
Yep.
I'm going to use my ritual whetstone, which is to sharpen the blunt end and sharpen the blunt end of this hammer so that it's two sharp ends. So if it hits, it's more likely to.
So maybe you're looking
impale.
at the corner of your eye, you see what Rickard's about to do, and you like use whetstone on the hammer. That's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, Rickard.
All tailors know how to do this. All seamstresses know this ritual.
Rickard, this is the hammer throw, literally, to save the day. Everyone else gets to say what could go wrong here. I mean, I think it's obvious. Just the arrow gets off and creates a big wall of fire. But if there's other ideas, I'm open to it.
Maybe some of the oil got on some of us, and we also catch fire.
That would be trouble. Yeah. Let's talk dice. Do you have a skill here?
Making do and history of a soldier.
Oh yeah, I like making do. It's pretty good. Yeah. It's an interesting skill, right? You got making do, and you have one light die, and everyone can make a devil's bargain. My bargain is Baroon gets burned up in the fire. The arrow goes wide, and he gets shot and gets burned up.
No matter what, Marta's ritual not only starts to grind the mannequin to a halt, but also starts to wear on your own bones. Sort of like the residual.
I was actually going to go with something similar to Jack's, but Jack said it better, so I'm just going to leech onto that one.
Who offers here, Rickard?
Yeah, let's go with starting to grind to a halt.
2 light dice, and I don't need a dark die yet. Go ahead.
A high 6 or
By
light 6.
6. Yeah, very good. Describe how you save the day with the help of 2 rituals.
I think he can feel the rituals flowing past him and into the hammer, but there's also a little bit of like a splash that seems to make its way back into his hand, and he can't focus on that right now, though, as he kind of does a short run up, just takes the hammer like a discus, and chucks it toward the mannequin. And yeah, I imagine it hits directly in the crossbow.
Indeed. Marta, you can use your ritual to shut down the mannequin for good. What does it look like?
So Marta has this little, I guess, pot that she keeps with her, and it's filled with like this sort of sticky molasses material. And she essentially rubs it between her hands and starts to pull at it, creating like a cat's cradle. But I think the way that it starts to sort of impact Ricard is that she's not as nimble, dexterous as she used to be. So instead of creating this perfect symbol that you would, that a younger person who had this ritual would, it's sort of imperfect and a little bit sloppy. And so it's starting to sort of leach out onto Ricard as well, this energy.
Nice. Anything you want to add, Tam?
The whetstone ritual, from Tam's perspective, is a visualization technique. You have to visualize actually using a whetstone on an item to sharpen it, and you have to have a really great visual imagination in order to make it work. Luckily, Tam does. So he just imagines sitting at a whetstone, sitting with this hammer and grinding the blunt part, the head of the hammer, into a sharp point. And it takes a second for it to happen, but when it does happen, I think whatever end hits the crossbow, the way that it splits the crossbow, it manages to take the fiery arrow and explode it back on the wooden mannequin.
Nice. Good. You all will eventually reach the vast doors that lead directly into the royal palace. The doors have been pushed open. One of them is slightly off its hinges. They open into a grand hallway lined with display ornaments and family heirlooms, all surprisingly undisturbed. What small royal trinket do you each pocket for yourself when no one is looking?
There is a set of miniature busts on a table, and they represent all of the heirs of this royal family. And if there is a royal scion, there has to be one for the royal scion. So I assume that the one at the end is going to be whoever that is. So I scoop it up and stick it into my pocket, so I can get a good look at it later and see if I recognize them.
I think on a small sideboard, someone has left a bracelet made of fine silver and gold that it prominently bears the royal crest, which is probably why no one has wanted to deal with it. And Rickard will, without even really thinking, just kind of slip it into his tool belt.
I think these rulers were somewhat cruel people, And I think that as sort of a twisted token to their cruelty, Marta finds a pair of gilded thumb screws, and just sort of this, like, almost in disgust, but also amusement, she pockets it.
You each come upon an interesting gathering at the end of the royal grand hall. It is a bull, a beetle, and a fox. The beetle you barely spy because of its size, but it's there, skittering around between the legs of the others. And a fourth creature, holding forth in front of them, a magpie. You've just interrupted some sort of very important conversation between these four creatures, because they all turn to look at you. The bull is almost gold in color and powerful and muscular. If you could describe a bull as incredibly fit, this bull is. The beetle, even from this distance, and even for a creature so small, you recognize in the beetle's eyes a depth of knowledge and understanding far deeper than any person's. And the fox gives you a smile, his teeth, with their teeth, very bright. The magpie hops to all three of them and whispers something in each of their ears, or what passed for ears on the beetle at least. And they each go their separate ways down connecting corridors. But the magpie stays and resumes its perch on the shoulder of a marble statue, waiting for you, his next audience. What do you all do? First of all, I'd like a ruin roll.
It's a 5 for me, so I go up.
Mine is a 3. Do we do meets it beats it with that, or?
You have to go higher.
Okay.
I got a 6.
So Rickard and Tam are going up. I'll owe you a condition, Tam. Rickard, you're up to 4 now. How are you both feeling? Particularly you, Rickard, since this is the second time you've seen this menagerie.
I think at first there's a bit of relief that the others clearly see it too. And then when he realizes what it might mean and the fact that they might begin to suspect a truth that he's not willing to admit about himself, he is starting to feel suspicious of them.
How are you feeling, Tam?
Terrified. This is evil magic. This is some sort of strange witch magic. Maybe Marta did it. I'm not really certain what's happening here, but animals shouldn't be talking, especially not to each other, or conversing, or planning, or strategizing. This is not what I expected from my mission.
The magpie is sitting on the shoulder of this statue. This statue is very prominently placed at the end of the hall. Looks like it's a statue of the king. The beetle, the bull, and the fox have gone their separate ways, but the magpie is waiting for the three of you, the four of you, really, Baroon as well. What do you all do?
I think Marta sees the magpie as like an omen of good fortune. The Corvines are, they're anti-establishment, and the magpie is, as far as she knows, some kind of Corvid. So I think she just sort of saunters up to it, lowering her scythe, and looks up to it.
Rickard, do you approach?
Yes, yeah.
Varun approaches. Tam, do you approach?
I'll go last.
The magpie says to the four of you, I know the secrets of the royal family, secrets that none other knows. You have but to nod your head, and I will whisper to you a secret. But beware, these secrets might be dangerous. They might even drive you to the brink of madness. Marta, do you nod your head?
I think she whispers under her breath, I have nothing else to lose. And then she nods.
As the magpie jumps over, hops onto your shoulder, Marta, to whisper in your ear. You'll feel the beetle looking back at you from the corridor that it went down, as if very curious about what the magpie is about to say. The magpie says, the royal family has amongst its collection of artworks a painting by Agino himself. This painting is called The Surrender of the King's Guard. The royal family is so terrified of this painting's power, they keep it hidden in the bowels of the palace. Rickard, do you nod your head to get a secret? And Marta, only you know that.
Yes. Yeah.
The magpie hops over to your shoulder. The royal family commissioned special purple slippers to be made for them. Slippers that would be comfortable for hoofed feet. Tam, do you nod your head?
Yes. I whisper to Baroon. I should have been told secrets before I came here, but yes.
She hops over and she whispers her secret to you. I shall tell you the true name of the king, which will give you power over him. And she does. She also whispers something to Baroon. But I need each of you to make a ruin roll right now.
I'm doing okay.
I'm doing all right as well.
3, 2,
Great.
and 3. Everyone's keeping it under control. Regrettably, Baroon did not. The magpie whispers its secret into Baroon's ear. His eyes go wide. His face goes pale. His lower lip trembles. He's still holding on to a shard of glass from the window that was smashed, which he plunges into his own throat. And so passes ring 2. And that concludes our session for today as well. Let's go to stars and wishes.
I have quite a few stars. I excuse me. I really liked the spin you took, Jason, where the result of Rickard's or Ben's role was that he thinks he's the royal scion. That's just it's such a fun spin, and it really just completely takes that character on a completely different journey than the rest of us, and I think that's great. I really loved Ben you playing into that, not really sure, don't really know what to say to the others because like you don't want to get murdered for being the royal scion, but you don't know that there's people here that are on the monarchist side. And just now like what's going to happen when you're in the castle and things start to sorry 1 second, and things start to get more aggressive. Are you going to start protecting the castle? Are you going to start it's going to be really fun to see what's going to happen there. I really loved the It's a Small World and the Marta tearing the woman's head back to take the pearl necklace off. Oh, that's so disturbing, and I love it. That's wonderful. So I liked the gilded thumb screws as well, Jack. You were really leaning into the horrific things made beautiful. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm excited for next week.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I've never read this one. I've skimmed through it, but it's something that I wanted to play, so I didn't want to like, spoil myself, even though I know that's another thing, but it is for me. But yeah, no, this is really, I didn't expect it to be as farcical as it's been, which is kind of an interesting change of tone from our usual sort of like very like deep folk horror trophy dark sessions. So it's been kind of like a nice change in tone, I think. Um, Individually, I really love the conversations between Tam and Barun, these kind of asides that the two of you have of like uh, just sort of trying to keep both of your heads in the situation. Now that one of your heads or part of it, I guess, the throat is now gone, I'm wishing to see how Tam sort of deals with being the only one who's kind of the outlier in the situation. But I guess with Rickard, what's been really fun to watch is the commitment to the paranoia of am I or am I not, and like with the huntress calling out, and Marta thinking that it was Barun, but Rickard having also this sort of this hint that maybe it's him. I'm really curious to see how that continues to play out throughout the rest of the incursion. And yeah, thanks again, Jason, for running this. Definitely has a different feel, and I'm really excited to see what the rest of it is because now that we've got Rune out of the way, I'm really curious to see what other struggles we're going to come up against.
I really I'm digging this. I didn't expect that one of us could maybe be the Scion, so that was a bold turn. I liked Barun. He brought a fun energy to the group, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Tam evolves now that he's the only one. I also really like Tam. Your first move being to hide and leave us on our own and exposed it set the tone in a really good way. Marta is just great. You're committing to the character, even in the way you're speaking, in the way you're performing her. It's really, really good, Jack. And looking forward to potentially seeing what happens if Marta starts suspecting Rickard. Just good stuff all around. Let's see how these poor people have a real bad time.
Yeah, it's really fun. I have not run this incursion for a long, long time, and probably from back when it was in Codex, which was ages ago. But it's different than the one we published in Codex. We changed it quite a bit for Trophy Dark for the final book release. But I like it. Like the feel of it is this. It's almost Lovecraftian in a sense. It has some Lovecraftian elements, which I think are really fun. They come out more later on, but there's already like little hints of it here in the early stages. It has some really great themes, and so I really like that. I like that it's sort of obviously like it's the framing of the story is like, this is not something that's happened yet, right? Like this is a possible future. And so there's something about that that's very intriguing because it's sort of like setting up some future elements of the campaign, right? And so I'm really like excited about that. I don't know if we'll see the beetle, the fox, and the bull again, but I like sort of they've kind of done their job in terms of like what's setting this particular 2-session thing up and kind of what's going to be happening in the future. And yeah, everyone did a great job. I was just really happy with it. It was a fun, like tension filled, but also like with a little bit of humor kind of story so far, and I'm digging it. Any other stars or wishes? Okay, then I will go ahead and wave goodbye to people watching the video.